So we just escaped from the palace because our mom got resurrected and everything, and we don't like our mom anymore, so we had to escape. But unfortunately, one of our friends died. Or well, I say friend. I mean, we didn't really, at least in this timeline, I don't think we hung out all that much, but like, you know, one of our allies, I guess, died, which is not so great, and you know, another one, Jurian, also got injured a lot. Anyway, because of the severity of Jurian's wounds, Rumpel decided he would bring her to the nearest clinic so she could be better cared for. Do we even have clinics anymore? You know, considering that our mother, her dear, is like, you know, changing everything, making everyone afraid, closing down shops, right? Are there even hospitals anymore? Does she even care that people get sick? I don't know. Anise decided to go with him, and surprisingly, Ophelia and her children all opted to go as well. Oh, the queen is here. Oh yeah. I don't know. I guess we didn't really see her, you know, her sprite and everything in the actual tavern. But I guess they mentioned that the queen escaped as well. Now the only ones left here at the tavern are me, Delora, Waltz, and Karma. They may not say it, but I'm sure they're blaming me for what is happening to Angia right now. I need to make things right. I close my eyes as a sudden bout of dizziness comes over me. Mother has always been the person that mattered most to me. I never questioned or disobeyed her because she was so important. She was my light in days that were often so dark. But I have no choice. If Mother isn't stopped, who knows how many more lives will be lost? The only way to stop Mother is to kill her, isn't it? I'm sorry, but this really is the only way. Yes, I know, but I do not think I could kill her myself. Delora has a knowing look in her eyes as she turns to address Waltz. We'll leave as soon as Parfait comes back for her meeting with the fairies. If you can fully use your magic, then we may actually stand a chance. I wonder about that, you know, considering that I assume we use most of our powers to resurrect our mother in the first place, so do we even have any magic abilities left, you know? At least, you know, like, as much as like a crystal bearer, right, or anything. Magic? What are you talking about? Waltz is just a street magician. What help could he be? Or was she referring to Waltz? No. Maybe she was. I thought she was referring to us, but I guess she's referring to Waltz. Don't underestimate our magician. Waltz is a witch and a lot stronger than he looks. Waltz is a witch? You know I have the Neverland curse. Yes. I do not know that fairy tale, but what does that have to do with anything? Your mother was the witch that cursed me. Okay, we didn't know that. Nanny? But Waltz, if you're also a witch, how can you be cursed? Your mother is a tattered brown bear, which means she has the power to punish all witches if she chooses. As to why he was cursed, Waltz's expression darkens. His dear needed to be stopped. I knew I couldn't defeat her alone, so I enlisted the help of the fairies. I betrayed her, and she punished me before she died. Waltz almost single-handedly brought about the end of the Great War. He's the reason we've been enjoying this peace for as long as we have. I never knew. He's the Queen Slayer, I guess, you know, something like that. Of course, you can only imagine how displeased her dear was with Waltz. Dear stole my shadow and sealed it away in Neverland. Your shadow, the true self. We really need to work on your fairytale knowledge one of these days, Princess. Peter Pan is a boy that lives in Neverland, which is a place where children never grow up. Waltz's curse means he has been frozen in the child's body since Sidir cursed him all those years ago. He can't grow up, and he can't use any magic. You know, in a way, isn't that immortality? I mean, it's not so bad. I guess, you know, you're not as powerful, you know, as you were before, but then again, you can live forever. You know, at least biological immortality. I assume you can still get killed, I guess, so it's not the best kind of immortality, but it's something, I don't know. Oh, he still ages, just not on the Is that how it works? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll learn more information maybe on his route. Well, I can still do some spells, but only simple, harmless ones. For Waltz to get his magic back, he needs to find Tinkerbell, yes, the fairy, which is the key to Neverland. We need to unlock his shadow. But all this time, you never found Tinkerbell in Neverland. You know, interesting that I believe in the Rumble World, he did find it. He did find Tinkerbell, I guess. I assume My guess is that it was like inside like a little box that Lucette found. I think because it was never really mentioned after she found it, right? I assume maybe he found it. I don't know. I've looked everywhere I can think of. I'm sure she cast a spell on it to make it more difficult to locate. Even in the palace? Laura snorts and I suddenly feel embarrassed. Oh, of course not. Why would Walt look in the palace first? I mean, but it is in the palace, guys? Hello? I mean, especially considering Hadir is the queen, has numerous secret chambers for things she wants to keep hidden. Now, looking through the entirety of the palace for a small box might be difficult. Did they mention it was a box? Because that makes my theory even more concrete. I don't think they even mentioned it was a box. I guess now she does. It's a box. Neverland is a box that was left to me by my parents. Yeah, well, I mean... Did they say that? I don't know, maybe they did. Yeah. But I didn't pay attention. I don't think they said it was a box. But it is a box, and now we know. It's the box that Lucette found in the Rumble route. It's a box that was left to me by my parents. It's made of gold, with carvings that resemble a pair of wings. What? Waltz jumps at my sudden reaction. Princess? That box. I forgot about it, but I can vaguely remember an old box in my room that matches that description. Ah, what a coincidence. Mother left me a trinket box and a key that matched that description. Excuse. She told me never to touch the box or to let anyone see it. I've had it for years. All this time, Tinkerbell and Neverland were with you? I never knew what was inside. I was too afraid to disobey Mother's orders. The thought of her giving you that box never even crossed my mind, but now, thinking back on it, it makes sense. I want to ask him what he means, but we're running out of time. I will have to ask him about it at a later time. I can get Neverland and Tinkerbell to you. I can return your magic. When Walt's back to his true form, he may have a fighting chance at this. What do we do first? We? There's no we in this, Lucette, only us. But I just said I could help. It is too dangerous, Princess. I'm the only one who knows where to find the box. Then you will tell us where it is and we'll retrieve it. It's as simple as that. I scowl at her with my arms crossed. I refuse to stay here and be useless while everyone else puts themselves at risk saving Anjo. Anjo's only this way because I brought back Mother. I must take responsibility. And will not let anyone else die in Mother's hands. Lucette. Mother is less likely to harm me. I have a better chance of getting Neverland and Tinkerbell without causing a disturbance. How can you say that after what's already happened? You're not safe either, Lucette. I mean, she might not kill you, but she might lock you up in a dungeon, you know? So... Explosion! No sooner has she said the words than a terrible blast echoes through the Martian. I cough as smoke envelops the tavern. A silhouette emerges in front of us, and I feel my blood turn cold when I realize who it is. Varg. Just when I thought I was safe, Varg reappears. I need to get inside. Isn't the tavern protected, you know? I guess not. At least he's powerful enough to get through, I guess. I don't know. Oops. I always forget how powerful this thing can get. Where previously there had been a wall made of stone, sturdy and strong, there's now a sizable hole. I guess, I don't know, he could just do that. Destroy the wall. Remnants of brick and stone collapse inward in the aftermath. The dust rises to settle around Varg's feet, where he stands casually twirling his cane. I hope I'm not disturbing anything, but all the doors were locked. Karma. No, he's not, because I don't know why I thought he said it in it's like karma, like you. No, that's not it. He's yelling for help. It's like karma, like that. Karma. Laura and I turn to glance at the wall behind us, where Walt is looking. Karma is standing there, injured. Oh, they already got in the fight again. They fought again. His forehead has a large gash, and one of his arms is limp and useless. He still manages to tightly grip the hilt of his sword with his other hand. Where did Karma come from? I would appreciate you destroying less property when you knocked on the tavern door. And I would appreciate if you'd gone out of my way when I asked politely, so I wouldn't have to resort to explosions. Seems both of us are disappointed. What do you want, Mark? Don't we already know the answer to that question? Come on. Varg turns to look at me expectantly. I thought the stolen goods would be brought here. What did you just call me? Karma lets out a harsh laugh. Has no one told you that women do not like being imprisoned against their will? Has no one told you that people that's not good to steal? I'm not an item to be stolen or imprisoned. I ball my hands into fists and I one-punch him. No, I cannot let Varg hurt anyone here. I have no idea if this will work, but if Fritz is fighting, then he must be able to hear my voice. Fritz. Varg growls, his eyes bright and angry as he glares at me. You need to give up on him, princess. Never. Fritz, I know you're still there. No matter what you say, nothing will change. Fritz is gone. Arriva. You won't. Varg chokes on his words and doubles over. You are being very annoying. Did it work? Out of the corner of my eye, I notice Karma preparing to attack while Varg is momentarily weakened. Something does not feel right. Karma, stop! What? Get the princess away from here! Who's saying that? Is it Varg or Fritz? What's happening? That voice. Fritz. Despite the fact that it is Varg standing before me, it is most certainly Fritz looking at me through those eyes. Please. I don't know how long I can hold him here. You all need to get out of here while you still can. You need to keep the princess safe. Keep her away from the palace. Waltz, get her out of here now. No. I dodge Waltz's reaching hands as I attempt to run toward Fritz. Keep her safe. Please. Now. No, don't hurt him. Karma runs forward, his sword raised just as Waltz grabs my hand and pulls me out of the way. No! Is he gonna get stabbed? Time slows as I watch Varg slowly come back to coherence, his lips curl into a snarl as he begins to bring his cane down to the floor. Laura throws her hand out, the collected light racing toward Varg. Varg stumbles back, his cane never hitting the floor. Varg growls as he glares up at Laura. Witches are so inconvenient. Unfortunately, Laura is not the only convenience in this room. Varg raises his cane to block Karma's next swing. Waltz grips my hand and tugs. We have to go, princess. Okay, so I assume he was gonna get stabbed or something. I guess not. It's gonna be all tragic, but I don't know. Maybe not yet. I glance back at Karma and Laura. There must be something I can do. Oh, there's still an option. I thought chapter 9, no, maybe I'm crazy, but I thought chapter 9 was the ending chapter, so there's no more choices. Maybe not, I don't know. I can't remember. Was it maybe chapter 9 or chapter 10? Anyway, I'll have a choice. There's nothing I can do. I think, I don't know. What should I do? Should I follow Waltz and run away and be a coward, or should I do something because Lou says, you know, she hates being useless? My eyes drift towards Varg's cane. That cane is the source of his magic. If we can get away from him, then Laura and Karma will stand a chance. With renewed determination, I run toward Varg. Princess! I barrel past Karma and hit Varg square in the gut with my shoulder, just slam him, forcing him backwards into the ground. A football-like charge. I begin to twist the cane away from him and clutch it as Varg raises him against the advance toward me. No time for games. Give it back. No. No. Just no. You really are nothing without your cane, aren't you? For a moment there's only silence as Varg freezes. I cannot read the expression on his face. What is he thinking? Varg breaks out the silence when he bursts out laughing. It is a sound that heralds certain chaos. The cane is not my only weapon. I watch as Varg slips a dagger out from his sleeve. And what are you gonna do with that little thing? Poke me? Who said anything about you? Now. With a smirk, Varg brings the dagger to his neck. He's insane! This dagger is more than enough to do some damage to the princess's favorite knight. No! Not that is definitely cheating. This is ridiculous. You share a body. You'll end up hurting yourself as well. Varg shrugs. I cannot tell if he's really unconcerned or pretending to be. I'll do whatever it takes. Varg smiles at me. In this light, his teeth appear to be gleaming and sharp like he has fangs. I'll give you back my cane and do precisely as I tell you, or the boy dies. Okay, it's kind of weird. I'm holding myself hostage, haha. No, I stand still. I cannot look away from Varg's gaze, which is bright with triumph. If Fritz dies, you die as well. Are you not afraid of death? I was never really alive to begin with. I'm just a bit of Fritz's mind given independence. His body isn't mine, so I can destroy it and not feel a thing. It will be Fritz that suffers. Princess, don't listen to him. You know it's a trap. I know Walt is telling the truth. I can see it in the look of Varg's face. I gripped the cane tighter to me. Varg is lying to me. He will definitely suffer, but he's also serious about hurting Fritz. And I cannot let that happen. Now do as you're told, little princess. Don't be stupid, Lucette. You'll leave everyone here alone. Varg nods, amusement flickering in his eyes. As my princess commands. Princess, don't! I'm so sorry. But just as I move toward Varg, a bright light shines out from behind me. What's that? I think, is it parfait? The shield of light pushes forward. The shield of light pushes forward and past me, shoving Varg back and out through the hole he made in the wall. I turn, barely able to believe what I see. Parfait. She comes to stand in front of me. Listen closely. We don't have much time. Parfait's eyes flicker to Varg, who is shifting ever so slightly in the rubble. Even I can tell that he's only temporarily out of commission. Tomorrow midnight, meet us at the palace gates. Bring Neverland and Tinkerbell with you. Do you understand? I falter as I imagine what Parfait could possibly be planning, but I have no time, and can read nothing in her gaze. There's nothing else for me to do but nod in understanding. Yes, I understand. Parfait smiles at me as she caresses my cheek with a gentle hand. I have faith in you, princess. We all do. You'll be fine. Parfait. Parfait grabs me by the shoulders and forcefully pushes me towards Varg. Okay, so we still, go back to the palace, I guess. He catches me, his hands firmly gripping my shoulders as I am careening into him. Keep her safe, Fritz. Varg flinches. He's inhaling and getting ready to speak when the air around us suddenly thins and we are swallowed by light. Unable to be able to breathe again, I open my eyes and see that I am back at the palace. Did Parfait transport us? I become aware that Varg still has his hands on my shoulders, and I wrench free from his grip. Strange that your friends will actually send you back here with me. Seems like they need you to retrieve something from the palace. Varg reaches out and snatches his cane from my hands. Ah, damn it. Maybe you should just broke his cane, but then again, he might still threaten Fritz again or whatever. If we do that. I'm not letting you leave the palace again, princess. The palace is eerily silent, and it's as if none of the chaos that just transpired ever happened. Like it was all just a dream. I ignore Varg and walk back through the gates as I suffocate the seething turmoil inside of me. Just trying to stop me. I slam my bedroom door behind me and lock it. It's only been a few hours since I was here. Since Jury and Garland. I close my eyes and will the memories away. Now is not the time. I must keep my promise to Parfait. I begin to search through my drawers. I could have sworn that this was the last place I saw Neverland and Tinkerbell. Did somebody move it? Oh, there it is. Okay, maybe not. Still here. At least that's the key. Tinkerbell, an elaborate golden key, is exactly where I remember leaving it. I place it carefully underneath my lap so as to keep it hidden from sight. But where's Neverland? I nearly turn my room upside down looking for it, but I never find the golden box. It should be here. Why isn't it here? My body's heavy after all that happened today, and soon I find myself collapsed on my bed. It'll be fine. I have until midnight tomorrow to find it. I'll continue looking in the morning. Okay, transition. Isn't Hidera still angry at us? She probably, I don't know, again. I wouldn't be surprised if Mother would just lock us up in a dungeon or something. I don't know why she doesn't do that already. My sleep is broken and disjointed. When dawn comes flittering through my windows, I'm already half awake. I pull myself out of bed and rub at my eyes. I need to find Neverland. I retrieve Tinkerbell from where I hidden it and slip the key into my pocket. Then, with renewed determination, I continue my search. Why isn't it here? With it right next to Tinkerbell, I feel I would remember had I moved it. Well, you were in a coma for like a week, so at least a week, and even more than that, I guess. After I guess summoning, Mother and everything. So I don't know. Somebody could have moved it. But I did drop Neverland months ago, didn't I? I've been meaning to get it fixed, but I always forget. It's not here. That means someone must have taken it, but who? Would Mother or Mythos have taken it? Where should I look? When you think about it, yeah. Mother was the first person who put it there in the first place, so, I mean, considering that you tried to run away, and kind of betrayed her and everything, she might just, went in her room and just took it. I don't know. And this is, a weird choice. How do we know? Where would it be? I don't know. Dining hall? Throne room? That's where the king is, maybe. Am your dad? Hey Dad, are you still a zombie? Oh, okay, he's not here. Thankfully, when I get to the throne room, it is empty. Where do I even begin to look? Out of the corner of my eye, I notice something sparkle from the throne, okay. I rush toward the throne, and I'm unable to believe my dumb luck. It's right there? Okay, who put it there, though? The box is definitely there, sitting right in front of me. I found it. But why is it just sitting here? Something feels off. If it isn't my disobedient daughter. I reach out and snatch Neverland and hold it to my chest. I have to keep Neverland and Tinkerbell safe, no matter what. I'm so glad to see my servant is still capable. Still, I wonder why Varg did not report his success in retrieving you. Varg did not tell her. I shall have a word with that cur. Mother walks toward me. I was not amused when you left the palace, Lucette, but I thought that sooner or later Faye would send you here to retrieve something. You were a very good girl for keeping that box safe as I told you to. But I see it was a mistake to leave it here while I was attending to Mythos' reports. I clutched Neverland tighter. This does not belong to you. Mother's voice is ice cold when she speaks. Oh. You hurt me so much last night. I hope you're not planning on leaving me again. I know you're hurting too, dearest one. I know you want to stay here with me. Mother sighs, and suddenly I can see the mother from my memories, the one that held me close and sung me to sleep at night. If Faye hadn't interfered, you would be so much happier. Faye? Once upon a time, she was a dear friend. We were like sisters until she betrayed me. She is no doubt going by a different name to hide her true nature from you. But you know that she's pulling you from your birthright. You were happier when you could not remember, weren't you? What? Oh, my darling. Mother reaches for me and I cannot move as she sets a hand on my cheek. I have only ever wanted to protect you, Lucette. I have only ever wanted the best for you. Mother gently runs a hand through my hair. I sacrificed so much so that my daughter could be a crown princess. I did not want to erase your memories, but I knew how much it would hurt you if you knew my true nature. And I knew how sad you would be if you knew just how much your father did not love us, either of us. And all because of his ridiculous love for that wretched harlot and her whelps. The very same commoner he married after I was gone, the woman he sought to marry from the start. Ophelia? The king has loved Ophelia for so long. Isn't that so unbelievable? But he was still loyal to her even after he had me. I should have made good on my threat and just killed her, regardless of whether Gennaro did as I demanded. But he's always hated witches. That's why he's so cruel to you, why he was so cruel to both of us. Dearest one, we only have each other. So it was and so it will be. I am the only one that will never hurt you. The only one you ever need to love and obey. Your longing for anyone else, your memories of anyone else, they're all unnecessary. Now be a good girl and listen to mother. Mom, you're being too clingy here. Refuse. I flinch away from mother's reaching hand. Mother hurt the king. He hurt so many people. He killed Garland. No. What did you say to me? I cannot let her hurt anyone else. No. Mother's eyes glitter as the light begins to collect on her palms. I can only bear your disobedience for so long, Lucette. It seems you require disciplining. Mother raises her hands, the light reflecting the cruelty in her gaze I'm now too familiar with. Knowing I couldn't outrun her, I turn my back and hold Neverland to my chest. I must protect Neverland. The air cackles, and crackles. Cackles? The air laughs. No, the air crackles, and I brace myself for whatever mother might unleash. I feel a hand on my back, and I'm pushed away. I fall down on the ground hard. Ow! What was that? You. Did you miss me? Laura, how did you get in here? I had some help. Princess. Fritz? Hey, it's Fritz. Fritz runs towards me and holds out his hand to help me up. Fritz, I thought I'd lost you. It's only for a second, but he pulls me close to him in a hug. I would never leave you. Fritz's arms tighten around me briefly before he releases me. We both turn to face Mother. You were going to hurt her, your own daughter. This is no concern of yours, and even if it was, what could you hope to achieve? You are so much weaker than the wolf, so much weaker than Varg. Fritz's body stiffens. Even now you only cling to a shred of control. Tell me, Sir Fitzgerald, how much longer till you're completely erased? You were strong enough to resist Varg, so much that he was able to get me here past your guards and your barriers. I think that makes Fritz plenty strong. I do not recall giving the traitor permission to speak. Do not think I've forgotten how you betrayed me, Delora. I haven't forgotten anything either, dear. Lore was only a child. Lore? Who? Who's Lore? Okay, apparently maybe she killed a child or something? Her fate was entirely your doing. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Lore was my daughter. Nini. I've never heard Dolores speak of a child. I'd always opposed the dear's actions. I disagreed with her creation of the fairytale curse from the beginning. But when I voiced my opinions out loud, she targeted my daughter. She killed her in front of me. Okay, well, kind of irredeemable when you murder kids. Suddenly everything in the room is still. The two women glare at each other, but neither one of them moves. You were not there when our kind were being hunted and slaughtered like animals in their own homes. I am the Tambourine Bearer. I felt each of their deaths like they were my own. Retribution was necessary, but you being so holy, so good. It took little Lore's death for you to understand the anguish of our brethren, to comprehend my anguish. I would not have killed her if you were not so blind. He was only 10. And she suffered for your weakness. Ooh, you don't understand, so I must kill your child. Okay, I don't understand. I don't understand her logic, but all right. Delora holds out her arm and sweeps it across the room, lightning traveling up her arm. Fritz tugs me around one of the columns and then presses my back into the coolness of the pillar. Hey, it's gonna be a witch battle. He holds himself against me, acting as a shield. Don't move. The ground shakes as Delora releases her spell. You think you can defeat me when you haven't even been training? How foolish. Please, I have no intention of defeating you. Fritz? Cover your ears, princess. Too confused to question him, I obey. I hear the sound of lightning cackling in the air, followed by an explosion. The column comes crashing down to the other side of the room. Time to go. Fritz's hands tightens around mine. We run out of the throne room. Delora's mother screech sounds from the room behind us. She go, "Ree!" Are you okay? Yes, I'm alright. I'm just so glad you're here. See, what did I tell you? What are you talking about? You're not here. I was scared that you wouldn't want to see you anymore after what happened yesterday. Fritz's fingers tightened over my own. If only I was strong enough to fight Varg, I could have... It wasn't your fault, Fritz. But what matters is that you're here now. Fritz looks at me and smiles. How do you know where I would be? Intuition. And magic. Well, yes, and magic. It's just magic. Do you have Tinkerbell? I hold Neverland in one hand as I reach for my other to search for the key in my pocket. Thankfully, my fingers still brush against the cool metal. It's in my pocket. Good, very good. Whatever happens, you must get Neverland and Tinkerbell to the Martian, okay? I nod my head. That's a good girl. Our face said to be here at midnight. What time is it? We're too early. Sometimes Parfait's early too. Looks like tonight is not one of those nights, though. It looks like my coming early was both a blessing and a setback. She's using the name Parfait. How sweet. Now, why does Mom always just pop up? It's always like we escape from her and then she just pops up again. It doesn't matter. She can just teleport in front of us, you know? So, none of this matters. Doesn't matter, anyway. Fritz steps in front of me as Mother reappears in front of us. He has unlimited power, so... Stay behind me. Fritz. I will never forgive myself if you got hurt. Please, stay behind me. Fritz smiles gently at me and my chest aches at the sight. Everything will be alright. I promise. I promise I'll protect you. I know you will. Okay. Fritz, Lucette must make it out at all costs. I do not like the sound of that. And you must understand why I cannot let you take my daughter from me. Oh, you took mine. Wow. Delora's hands begin to glow. Well, perhaps this time Lucette will watch as you die, Delora. No. Well, you can try and kill me, but your chances are slim. I have a very good night with me, and he thinks he likes me more than he likes you. That can be remedied. Mother flicks her wrist. Delora holds out her hand as if to prepare for the impact of a spell, but the magic never comes. Mother's not aiming for Delora. Da! With a gasp, Fritz drops his sword and falls to his knees. Fritz. Come along, Varg. I won't let you... That's when I realize her mother is calling for Varg. Her hand twists in the air, manipulating Fritz's body to copy its movements. His body writhes and turns as he struggles to remain himself. Now. No, Fritz. Princess. I'm sorry, but I can't. Fritz looks at me one last time before the familiar darkness envelops his body. Fritz. Now, Varg, be a good dog and get Lucette back to her room. When Varg appears he's standing absolutely still, his eyes surveying everything calmly. There's an intensity to them, but is sharp and contained. I flinch back from Varg's bright eyes. No. Varg, you are going to hurt her. Pardon? I don't intend to obey someone who would hurt the princess. What? Okay. Mother hisses in annoyance. I do not know how you inspire such loyalty, Lucette, but it's very inconvenient. Mother flicks her wrist, and a responding light flares out from behind her. My queen. Okay, here's the other guy. Great. Reinforcements. I order you to restrain your pet, Mithros. At once, my queen. Mithros extends his hand toward Varg, and the minute he does, Varg's body stiffens and he grits his teeth. I always make sure to have control over any of my creations. Oh, this is not going as planned. You had a plan. Now, my darling, My hands shake and Neverland nearly tumbles from my hands as I struggle not to collapse. Since you become so tainted, I thought sleepies will have put in your head, I shall have to start all over again. But don't be afraid, cleansing your memories will not hurt. And when you wake, you will be my daughter again, my dearest one. Oh, okay. Mind wipe us. Gonna format our brain. Mother reaches out her hand toward me. Every fiber of my being screams at me to move, but my feet are heavy, and I'm shaking so hard I cannot stand straight. I do not want to forget anything or anyone anymore. Behind me, the clock tower begins to chime. It's midnight. Not in my watch. Laura quickly runs in front of me and casts a protective shield. Laura, you can't. I will not let her erase any of your memories, Lucette. I brace myself for impact, and I feel the ground shudder as Mother's spell comes in contact with Dolores' shield. A loud crack emanates from Dolores' shield as it begins to crack. An offensive spell? You're going to kill your own Dolores' words fade when we see another spell coming toward us. I hear a low laugh rise from Mother's throat. Goodbye, Delora. Lucette, run! Laura! And then everyone dies. Mom keeps killing everyone. I cough as clouds of smoke slowly fade away after the impact. My whole body feels as hollow as ice as I gaze at the sight before me. Laura's body lies on the floor in front of me, unmoving. I collapse to the ground, my vision blurry as I stare numbly at Laura's limp figure. No, this cannot be. I reach out to touch her, and I sharply inhale when I feel how cold and clammy her skin is. No, Delora! Always conjuring the shield after being hit by a powerful spell. Have you forgotten your lessons, traitor? This deja vu. I think she said this before. You know, in fact, Mithra said it to Delora, you know, at the Rod round, right? That's what she said. And then she actually, you know, tricked Mithros by pretending to be dead, and then, you know, attacked him again. Now she can finally reunite with her daughter. Neverland tumbles from my grasp as I grab Laura's arm to shake her. Is she dead or is she pretending to be dead? I don't know. She doing the old pretending to be dead trick again, or well, okay. No, Delora, please. She's still breathing. She can't be saved. She cannot die like this. A bright light appears before me, and suddenly, Parfait is standing right in front of me. Hey, Parfait. Dear, what have you done? Faye, it's been a while. Parfait addresses me without looking back. Princess, you have Neverland. Yes. I reach blindly for Neverland with one hand as I keep the other on Laura's arm. A warm hand settles on my shoulders. The touch is comforting and familiar. Have faith, Princess. I won't allow you to leave, Fairy. Mythos casts his magic, but Parfait easily deflects it, just imagine Dragon Ball Z deflect the energy ball. She moves to cast a spell in retaliation, but doubles over as soon as the spell flares on around her. You are fading, Faye. Lucis herself is fading with you. My eyes lock with Varg's, and for a moment I can see Fritz through him. I see his lips move, but whatever words he speaks to me are mute. He shakes his head. Light begins to engulf me, and I see nothing apart from Dolores' pale face on my lap. Oh. I do not move, even when the Martian walls come into existence around me. The place is devoid of its usual warmth. Okay, once again, we just run away. We just keep running away from our problems. Hooray! Delora. She's not responding. I fight down the rising grief and try to remain calm as I turn to Parfait. Please, save her. Save her! Parfait glances down at Delora, eyes glassy. It's as if she's hiding emotions behind her frigid mask. Again, ironic, because we were doing that at the beginning of the game. It's Parfait doing that now. I feel that her mask is a reflection of my own. Any moment now will fall away. I'll be able to see her tears. Princess. The spell that he did use was a powerful one. There's nothing I can do. The air in the Martian seems to leave all at once. Okay, she's actually dead. Mom! Mom, stop killing everyone. No, that's not true. You have to. Lucette. Laura. She does not move and her eyes are still closed as she speaks. Lucette. I'm sorry, but I can't stay. No, don't say that. I've been lucky. The deer took my Lore, but I got you in return. I like to think that my daughter would have grown up to be someone like you. A surrogate daughter? Our true mom was Dolores all along. Or like, I don't know. Was she? Were we? I mean, sort of. I guess we did like talk to her as a doll for like a year. I don't know if that counts as being our mother, or at least surrogate mother. I don't know. Is that the right word? Surrogate mother or stepmother? I don't know. Anyway, not stepmother, but like like a true mother that's not really blood related. Anyway, Laura, I believe in you, Lucette. I've always believed in you. You cannot leave, Dolores. I won't let you leave. Though Dolores' body does not move, I can feel the energy of her body slip through my fingers like sand. Her body slowly begins to fade away, until only specks of glittering golden dust remain. How witches die? A terrible prickling cold seeps into my heart and chest, and the frigidness envelops my whole body. I cannot breathe. It was only when a teary-eyed parfait pulls me into a hug that I realize my throat is raw, and I've been screaming in grief. Another one bites the dust. I do not remember being tucked into bed. In the silence of the dark night, I can feel the absence of Dolores like a hole in my chest. Sleepless hours tick by in a haze, until the morning sun creeps through the window. Lucette, you didn't get any sleep, did you? I shake my head. I wish I could give you time to grieve. You died protecting me. I cover my face in my hands, and hot tears that I thought had dried begin pouring from my eyes again. Both of them, Garland and Dolores, died because of me. This is my fault. If only I was strong enough, I could have... No, Princess. If it was anyone's fault, it's mine. Both Dolores and Parfait keep owning up to this blame, but do either of them deserve any of it? Your mother and I were like sisters once. I couldn't bring myself to hurt her. Because of that, I didn't act in time to save her from the Tenebrum's corruption. If you are seeking to blame anyone, blame me. I am responsible for all of this needless pain, all because I could not stop you, dear. I was too afraid, and now I'm too weak. But what could you have done? Mother is... I don't think anything can stop Mother. The Lucis and the Tenebrums are inextricably linked to each other and to their bearers. The crystallum cannot exist without each other. If one is destroyed, so is the other. What are you saying? We can stop you, dear, if we destroy the Lucis. That would destroy the Tenebrum as well. Parfait, that's insane. This world has suffered from magic for 3 centuries. Maybe it is more bad than good. 3 centuries? 300 years? Is that how it works? Magic only existed for 300 years or something? Perhaps the only solution is to remove the source of it forever. But Mother only survived because she was the Tenebrum bearer. She lived so long as the Tenebrum exists. If the Tenebrum is destroyed, the deer should die. But you're suggesting we destroy the Tenebrum through destroying the Lucis? Parfait smiles at me, but I find no comfort in it. I only say it's my time. You could not be serious. And also what happens to Lucette? Is she technically the heir to the Tenebrum crystallum? Doesn't she die too? I don't know. I don't know how it works. Maybe only Hadir dies? Anyway, there has to be another way. There's already been so much suffering. Dolores and Garland did not die, so you have to give up your life as well. I'm not saying we have to make a decision now. After what happened to Varg, I've strengthened the Martians' defenses and added a glamour. For now, we are safe. Breakfast will be ready soon. Join us when you're able. The others will need to know what happened last night. There must be another way to stop Mother. There has to be. By the time I make it to the dining area, the food is cold. I'm not surprised by the state of the food, but seeing Walt in a grown-up body is definitely shocking. Okay, so I guess he broke his curse. What's up, grown-up Waltz? Oh, Princess. Waltz quickly makes his way over toward me and kneels down. He almost looks like a knight, though he is lacking the armor. Oh, thank you for breaking my curse. At least I was able to do something good, but still. Princess? I do not notice the tears rolling down my cheeks until he calls my title softly. Oh, what's this? Waltz the Big has made the princess cry? No, it isn't Waltz. Waltz? Delora believed I could accomplish 3 good deeds, and yet I... You like hot chocolate, right, darling? I'll get the mugs. Gently, Waltz leads me to a bench and sits next to me. Parfait hasn't told them what happened to Delora yet. All of them are smiling at me, trying to cheer me up, but how can I possibly smile now? I need to tell you all something. Hot chocolate first, talking later. You look pale, like you didn't sleep at all last night, and have you even eaten recently? Now that I think about it, no, I haven't. Rod, who I hadn't even realized was back in the Martian, stiffly stands up from his chair and walks away. He was here this whole time, just listening quietly in the corner. Did I say something wrong? Walt smiles at me as he pats my shoulder. We've sent Anise off to look after Jurian, so it's just us and the Martian. Rod's been taking care of meals, so he's probably going to get you something to eat. But why? Rod has never liked me. Oh, he likes you in his route, anyway. You saved his family from Varg, Princess. I know he minds cracking a few eggs for you. Rod comes back into the room and places utensils and a plate in front of me. It's full of toast and scrambled eggs. I know it's not much, but you need to eat. I have no appetite, but he's right. I pick up my fork and stab a few eggs to try. Oh, this is good. Num num num. Thank you. No problem. Suddenly, I'm incredibly aware of how famished I am. I shovel the rest of the food into my mouth eagerly. I'm eating the last remnants of my toast when Rebel comes back into the room holding far too many mugs for one person to manage. And now I present to you hot chocolate a la Rumpel. Waltz jumps up to save the several mugs from Rumpel's precarious hold. Ah, hot chocolate. How lovely. I knew this would happen, so I made plenty. Waltz and Rumpel place the mugs on the table. Rumpel counts all of them. 5, 6... wait. Where's Lady Delora? She's dead? Anyway. Time to, destroy the mood. The fork I'm holding clatters to the plate. His only sound in the suddenly quiet room. Delora passed away last night. What? The atmosphere shifts. Everyone is openly frowning, their eyes filled with regret. Yeah, you feel like the story is taking too much space? Yeah, I really do. We're kind of having screen time with all the characters. It really feels like a finale or something like that. But I don't think. As far as I know, this isn't the last route. At least recommended order of playing. So I don't know. We're just not seeing much of Fritz. We saw a lot of Varg, I guess. I guess he counts as Fritz. So it really is like a Fritz Varg kind of story, but also Hadir. This is the first time we actually see our mother and everything, so it's kind of like a Hadir route as well. So I don't know. At least as a main villain anyway. So the night ended up being a turncoat after all. Fritz has nothing to do with it. Fritz helped Delora get to me just when Mother was going to take Neverland. We would have all made it out alive if Mother hadn't used her magic to summon Varg. Mother was going to erase all my memories again, and I didn't know what to do, so I just stood there. It was just like what happened with Garland. And now Delora's dead because of me. I cover my face with my hands as a too familiar grief bubbles up inside of me. Delora made a choice to protect you, Lucette. Just like Garland made his choice to protect Jurian. The only thing we can do now is to make sure their sacrifices weren't in vain. Here. Waltz gently pushes a mug toward me. If there is one thing Laura taught us, is that hot chocolate makes almost everything better. I stared at the mug and remembered the last time I had hot chocolate with Delora. I would never thought the drink I shared with her so many days ago would be the last. And also, yeah, we learned a little bit about Delora. So we learned a lot about all the other side characters, you know, in this route, I feel. I bite my lip and keep myself from crying. So what do we do now? The plan hasn't changed. We need to stop Hidir and save the king. But how is the question? Waltz's voice is quiet. Lady Parfait. How does he know what Parfait plans to do? Or does he know? Or does it? Well, no, I would say how. Does he know what Parfait plans to do? You know as well as I do that there's only one way out now, Waltz. Parfait quickly explains what she told me about destroying the Lucis to destroy the Tenebrarum. But if we do so by destroying the Lucis, you will die. I refuse to let that happen, Lady Parfait. Laura sacrificed her life to have Princess Lucette bring back Neverland, and now you're telling us that was useless and there's no other way? If any of you have an alternative, please tell us. I don't want to lose any more of you over my mistake. But we cannot lose you either. I have a suggestion. Okay, what's our brilliant plan? What is it? Let me get this straight. Lady Parfait is going to act as bait to lure Hidir out of the palace into the gates, and the rest of us will help distract her long enough so that you can get to your father. Once the king is safely the Martian, Mother cannot use him as a bargaining chip anymore. After that, we have nothing left to lose. We'll be able to go all out against Mother. The efforts we spared in bringing back Neverland will not go to waste. Walt will use his magic to give us the upper hand. Though to be honest, I would still like to try and reason with her one last time. I don't know about that. Princess, Hidir cannot be... I cannot accept that your death is the only thing that would achieve our goal in stopping Mother. You told me before that Mother was a kind person. If I could somehow reach out to who she used to be, then perhaps it is possible that we could end this without any additional bloodshed. Everyone turns silent, their faces grim. I know this is not the best or most concrete plan, but please let me try it. I want to hope that the person my mother used to be is still there. This is my fight as well. I need to do something. The least I can do is save my father, and stop Mother without Parfait needing to sacrifice herself. It will be dangerous, but I beseech all of you, please help me. I want to believe that my old friend is still in there as well. Okay, let's do this. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Okay, this is chapter 10. I don't know why I thought... Okay, again, maybe I'm crazy, but I always thought chapter 9 was the ending chapter. It's chapter 10 that's when you get the ending, right? I don't know. I guess because I look at these save slots, I see chapter 9 as the last save slot, but I never really save in the last chapter, I guess, so that's why. Because there's no decisions to make in the last chapter. So I just forgot. So I can only assume that we're gonna get the bad end now, but let's see. Though I tried my best to convince him that I need everyone outside distracting Mother, Waltz insisted on coming with me instead. Waltz really should be helping everyone distract Mother. Though I admit that I'm glad he's here with me. He's not in his room. Where are we looking for the king next? The throne room. He should be there. He's always in the throne room whenever Mother left the palace. Looks like he isn't here either. Is there anywhere else he could be? If I was Mother and had to leave the palace to deal with enemies, and I had something I wanted to keep safe, I would keep it in a secret chamber, somewhere no one would suspect, and that would be the tunnels. Let us go. We're almost there. You know, interesting that we just snuck into the palace without being noticed, you know? How it is. I don't know, it's just like, they just like waved it off, you know? They don't even mention it. Like, it's that easy to just walk into the palace. I don't know, anyway. Thankfully, the doors of the temple chamber comes into view as we turn the last corner. I push the doors open and look inside. The king sits on a chair, his eyes devoid of any emotion. He's here. Is this what he's been like? Ever since Mother returned. His eyes are so empty. Do you know how to break the enchantment on him? Waltz leans forward to inspect the king's face. This is a high-level magic cast by Lady Hadir herself. This is not something I can break. Unfortunately, it's something that the king will have to break out on his own. Well, well, well. Would you look at what the cat dragged in? Varg. I look closely at Varg and notice that his usual cockiness and mirth are gone, replaced with something that looks like melancholy. It looks like he's in pain. You shouldn't have come here. He stares at us blankly. Waltz moves to stand in front of me, barring me from Varg and the king. If I had my way, I wouldn't hurt her. That's not how this works. What are you talking about? Varg turns his gaze on me and does not look away as he speaks. I am the big bad wolf. I was made to devour Little Red Riding Hood here, not fall for her. Varg loves me? Varg laughs, but it's a dry, humorless laugh. He looks surprised. It's really so hard to believe that I have the ability to love someone. Waltz's voice is quiet when he addresses me. He keeps his eyes trained on Varg. Get the king and get out. I'll be right behind you. No, I'm not leaving you. No one's leaving anybody anywhere. Varg sighs. I cannot fully see his eyes, yet I can still see the resignation in them. I have orders to keep you here. Strict orders. The queen wants to see her daughter after she's done with your friends. As for her wayward apprentice, well, I was told you could be dead or alive. If you think I'm letting Lucette stay, your opinion really doesn't matter. I'm sorry about this, princess. I'm suddenly shoved to the side. I land heavily on the floor, my head thudding hard against the wall behind me. Ow! Oh, so many injuries. Everyone keeps shoving us and hitting us. Lucette. Waltz turns toward me, but before he can move, he's blown back. Past Varg and the king, he crashes to the wall on the opposite side of the chamber. Waltz! The element of surprise is so delightful. Mythos, what did you do? I glance once more at Waltz, but he's now moving. I struggle to my feet. You're not going anywhere. Before I can track his movements, Varg is already at my back. He pulls my arm behind me so fast I have no way to resist him. I can do nothing but watch as Mythos advances on Waltz. Tough fighting, princess. I can feel his warm breath brush my ear as I fidget. I don't want to hurt you. You already have. I turn my attention away from Varg and glance back at Mythos, who's still slowly walking toward Waltz, his expression tight with anger. You were always the favorite, always the precious little student. And then you betrayed her. For what? Her queen would have given you the world. You took her trust and threw it into the mud. But let me enlighten you. You're not needed anymore, Waltz. I cannot let this happen. You thought Waltz was stronger than Mythos? I mean, probably in a straight-up duel, but just as he said, the element of surprise. The strongest element, it beats, there's fire, water, earth, and air, but the element of surprise is the most strongest one. I cannot let this happen. Adiva. I already forgot how you pronounce it. Adiva. Varg's grip on me tightens. I can hear the disappointment in his voice when he speaks. It won't work this time, princess. My heart plunges to my stomach. After you and the fairy left, what do you think the queen did, What are you talking about? He wasn't pleased with your little knight's disobedience. At that point, well, it didn't take much. What did she do to Fritz? A little push. Just like that, and Fritz just disappeared. Gone. Gone? I repeat the word hollowly, letting it sink into my mind and my heart. It's like he was never here. All you have now is me. My knees give out and I sink to the floor. I can no longer feel Varg's grip on me. I can no longer feel the dirt beneath my knees. I'm losing everyone. I'm losing all of them, one by one. Why did I think I could help? Why did I think I could do this? This is all my fault. I crane my neck upward to stare at Mithros and Waltz. The queen has me now, Waltz, and I've been training. I am better. I'm stronger. I will deliver your head to my queen. I am paralyzed in Varg's arm, unable to move or speak as Mithros moves close enough to deliver a magical blow to Waltz. The room is suddenly filled with dust that spirals out from the center. I blink back tears that stings my eyes. And when it clears, Waltz is once more standing, and he and Mithros are glaring at each other. Waltz! The sight of Waltz, alive and defiant, is enough to shock my brain back into action. I must save the king. And once Mother is defeated, Fritz might come back. With renewed energy, I begin to once again struggle against Varg. Hey! I wrench myself to the side, and have enough leverage to bite down in his hand. Ow! And he yelps and drops his cane. Impudent girl. I look up to see Mithros already turned toward me with an outstretched hand. Light dances down his arm and collects on his fingertips. You need to learn obedience. No, Mithros, don't! What's that? I cannot stand idly in place as I always do. I must move. But even as I lift my feet from the ground, I can see that the light is going to chase me. It will come for me no matter how far I run. Is it like, I guess it's magic missiles. You can never miss. It's like homing missiles. Set! At the very last minute, a shape moves in front of me, acting as a shield. I see Varg's back moments before the spell pierces through his body and crumples him to the ground. Varg! His body collapses to the ground, his mask falling from his face. Why? Why did you save me? Oh well. How did he get that scratch and there's blood everywhere? I only thought it was like one energy ball. I don't know. Thence to the end. Varg manages a weak laugh, then shakes his head. Even though I was the one who was there with you, it was still him that you wanted. I loved you just as much, and yet you would never choose me, would you? No, you wouldn't. Because this big bad wolf doesn't have a happily ever after to begin with. Fading away like this hurts less than having to come to terms with that. I can hear the click of Mithros' shoes on the tile. His voice is filled with amusement. Even Walt seems too shocked to move. I knew there was a reason for your sudden disobedience. I suppose I should have expected this. Dogs always love their mistresses. Varg reaches up to touch my cheek. He smiles as shadows creep up his body. Moments later, it is Fritz lying on the ground, smiling his gentle smile. Then he closes his eyes and does not open them. Alright. I was thinking Waltz was gonna get killed and everything. That's not the bad end we usually get. Usually the bad end involves getting the person that we're supposed to be with, them dying, right? And here we go, he's dead. Technically Varg died, but also I guess, Fritz. It's Fritz's body, I guess, so it doesn't matter if they both die. Not moving, not breathing. Gone. Time stops as my mind whirls, and we get the bad end. I feel my heart slowly beginning to break into shards. This is all my fault. She keeps saying that, by the way. Keep repeating that. The end. That end. And isn't that tragic, Varg, I guess, being a part of Fritz, also loves Lucette. But technically, he's a different person and everything, and also being controlled. So he will never be with her or whatever, But let's see what happens in the good ending now. I also gotta turn on the right choice indicator, so obviously, and I don't even know how to say, because again, there was that achievement, if you happen to get a good ending with the right choice indicator, then you get an achievement, but obviously, that's really hard. Anyway, let's just try to get the good ending now. Let's see, how do I do that? Let's go back all the way to Fritz, starting from the very beginning. I assume here? I think, right? Fritz, chapter 3? Okay, let's see what the right choices are. Now be a good girl and rendition. No! No, Mom! Again, more points? Yeah, I assume. Fast forward. Fast forward. The hunter. Okay. The big bad wolf and the hunter who's, kills the wolf, I guess. Who's the grandma in this story? Isn't there like a grandma that gets eaten by the wolf or something? I don't know. It took a lot to convince everyone that I need to enter the palace alone. It's the people outside who are fighting Mother that need the greater strength. Okay, interesting. So this time, we just tell Waltz to not come with us, Bringing any one of them with me would have greatly diminished that strength. I must quickly find the king. We're just gonna do this ourselves. Mother always made sure to leave the king in the throne room whenever she left, so it follows that she will leave him there now. It's too quiet in here. I push open the doors and stop in the doorway. The king is sitting on his throne with a vacant expression fixed to his face. He does not so much as flinch as I step inside. And he's not in a secret dungeon this time. We're not gonna have a battle in there now. I attentively make my way to the throne. Your Majesty. He does not speak, his eyes remain fixated in the same place, as if he's looking through me. Is he gone forever? Angel needs you. The king I know would never leave his kingdom to ruin. I'm standing close enough to him that I could reach out and touch him if I wanted to. What do I have to do to save you? Oh, now you're being nice to him. I whirl around and place myself in between the king and Varg. All those years you had the opportunity to reach out to him, but you never did. So I guess the king had to be missing his soul for you to care about him. What are you doing here, Varg? Someone had to keep an eye on the old man. The queen thought someone might try to take the old man while she was busy. I had a feeling it would be you who returned. You can't bear the thought of losing someone else, can you? What are you going to do then? I'm not leaving without the king. Varg is silent as he makes his way toward me. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to stop him, though I will not move. I cannot let him take the king. I will not succumb to his threats. It's at that moment, as he's about to reach out to me, that he suddenly drops to his knees and puts a hand to his chest, his expression pained. I just need a little more time. What's happening to him? He manages to talk to me through gritted teeth. You shouldn't have come here alone, especially not with a big bad wolf here. It's my job to destroy you, He flashes me a wicked grin, but the expression is shockingly short-lived. It is replaced by a soft smile. But this big bad wolf can't do that. You can't destroy a person you've fallen in love with. How are you in love with me? Varg looks at me amused. How? Blame Fritz. It was never meant to happen, but I can't help feelings that were there from the get-go. The queen wasn't pleased with your knight, so she tried to erase him forever. But he hung on. He was pretty sure that if you could be strong, so could he. He looks at me with such sadness I actually feel guilt stir within me. I'm not entirely sure why. Fritz is still in there somewhere this time. I don't think Fritz could ever deserve you. Deserve me? But he's more worthy of you than I will ever be. I'm nothing more than a moth drawn to your fire. I can only ever be burned by you, and maybe Fritz will have better luck. Shadows begin to gather around Varg's feet and start to slowly soar up the length of his body. Does that mean Fritz is coming back? I know that this is the only thing you would ever want from me. I just wanted to tell you how I felt. Just that. Gods know that Fritz is incapable. But he is capable of one thing. He's a good hunter. He defeated me fair and square to save Little Red, and now I have no choice but to step aside. So Fritz has overpowered Varg. Try to miss me, princess. Think about me every now and then. That'll be enough. Varg, what are you... Goodbye, my princess. He smiles at me, his cocky grin fading into a gentle smile, the shadows cloak him fully, making him a little less in a silhouette. Okay. Fritz is just back to himself now. I keep myself firmly positioned for my father. The darkness eventually dissipates, and there, standing in the moonlight, is a familiar face. Fritz? I'm back. I look at him with bleary eyes. I'm sorry for taking so long, Princess. I'm running before I even realize my feet are moving. I'm overwhelmed with so many emotions, none of which I could put a name to at this moment. I only know that I'm happy, so happy that Fritz is back. Yeah, it really feels like a Varg. I don't know. I guess when you think about it, I mean, it depends. Like, there's two theories, I feel like. Either Varg, again, I mentioned before, like Varg, it's just like a part of Fritz, so really he really didn't disappear, he's just his subconscious, right? Or, if Varg really is just another, like, person in his body, so it really is really kind of tragic when you think about it, because it really is like a love triangle, but Varg, you know, can never really be with her. And everything, so I don't know. And I can see why Varg, or rather, I can see why people would like Varg more. Think about it, he's kind of like the dark horse, you know, the like I don't know how you would put it, like, you know, again, like a love triangle. There's always like the goody two shoes, the one that's meant to be and everything, and there's always the other guy, or either a guy or a girl, I guess, depending. But there's always another person who's always the third wheel, you know. But they're like I don't know. They're like, they never get the person, right? They're never really destined to be a couple because they're too like, I don't know, they're just too incompatible or something? I don't know. Something like that. Smooch. I throw my arms around his neck and kiss him. Fritz pulls his arm around my waist, pulling me closer. This is him. This is Fritz's heartbeat, his scent, his warmth. It came back to me. Thoughts whirl through my foggy head. I step away from him ever so slightly, suddenly aware of the heat in my cheeks. Wait, did I just kiss Fritz? I cannot bring myself to move away from his grasp, but I suddenly cannot bring myself to look at him either. Why did I just... Well, you see, this is the Fritz route, so you just end up with him anyway. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Fritz's gentle laugh brings me back to my senses. Though it's hard to parse the feelings inside of me, I can at least be certain that I love the smile he's giving me right now. This feels like a dream. It does. And not just because of what happened, but because Fritz is here. Really here. Fritz leans forward to slowly brush a strand of hair away from my face. My heart pounds in my chest at the subtle touch. Once again, my mind is reeling with considerations. If the princess says it isn't a dream, then it must be real because I trust her with all my heart. I thought I lost you for good. I do not flinch away when Fritz pulls me closer so that I'm resting against his chest. But how did this happen? Did you overwhelm Varg? Varg erased himself. How's that possible? Well, he always had that ability, but he's never had any reason to consider using it before. And why now? Because he cared for you. My love for you is so strong, it must have affected him too. He loved me. Varg said the same thing, and he blamed Fritz. So it is true? Fritz smiles, and I feel his warmth spread inside me like sunlight. Always, Lucette. Well, well, well. This is quite the scandal. Fritz moves to stand in front of me. My queen is not going to be pleased. If my curse was so weak that even Sir Fitzgerald could break it, I do not think even I am safe from her wrath. But I believe her disappointment in me will be second to the disappointment she feels for you. After all, you chose a lowly knight. How dare you? Princess. I stopped short at Fritz's tone. You have an important task, don't you? The king. The mythos. Trust me. Fritz releases my hand to pull out his sword, sinking easily to a ready stance. I mean, I don't know, every time like a swordsman tries to fight a mage, or, well, a witch anyway, it doesn't turn out well. Depends, I guess. Well, there was that one time someone cut off your arm. In fact, did that happen in this route or a different route? I can't remember now. Someone cut off your arm, Mythros. I don't know, I can't remember now. I'll protect you. Did you replace your arm like a full metal alchemist steel arm now or something? I don't know. You think you could possibly prevail over me? Now when you have no cane, no power at all, don't make me laugh. Fritz strikes, his slash quick and clean. Taking Mythos by surprise, Fritz manages to cut his sword through his shoulder. Mythos hisses as he clutches his bleeding shoulder. Their hatred is bright in his eyes. As Fritz rushes Mythos, I run toward the king. You think a mere swordsman can be one of the queen's apprentices? I'd be more wary if I were you, Sir Mythos. I approach the king who is yet to move from his spot. What do? How can I possibly move him? I need to wake him up. But how? Just slap him a few times, splash some cold water in his face, I don't know. Your Majesty, I've been selfish. I was always so concerned with my own feelings and my own pain. I reached out a trembling hand and set it atop on one of his hands. Now I realize you were trying to help. It may have been lackluster, but you genuinely tried. I've been so unfair to you, just like Mother was. I do not know if words are enough to make up for what I have done, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so cruel to you. Please, I need you. I stare hard into my father's eyes, but there's no movement, no recognition. I dip my head in mourning and bite my lip as I try to think of another way to save him. But my thoughts subside when a flash of light permeates my vision. It's only for a moment, but when I look up I can suddenly see life in my father's eyes. Lucette? Your Majesty. I reach out to hug him, and he wraps his arm around me, okay? I guess with the power of magic. He woke him up, sure. I feel like I've been asleep for a long time. And then I heard your voice. It sounded as if you needed me. What has happened? He eyes the motion behind me and raises his eyebrows. He attempts to stand, but his knees shake and buckle. I duck underneath one of his arms to help him back onto the throne. The king stiffens as he glances at the battle ensuing behind me. Sir Mythos and Sir Fitzgerald? What is going on here? The king has broken the enchantment. Impossible. I told you not to underestimate her. Your Majesty, we need to get you out here. What is happening here? Mother suddenly materializes in the center of the room, standing right before Mythos and Fritz, who has the witch as sword point against the front doors. But Mother is not alone. Mother has Parfait in a tight grip. The moment I call her name, she releases her, and Parfait tumbles to the floor. I guess they were fighting, somewhere else. Crimson stains her dress. Well, Parfait, you're bleeding. Parfait does not move to acknowledge me. Faye would not let go, so I had to bring her with me. Not that it matters. What did you do to her? Where are the others? They retreated like cowards. Persistent things. I would have killed them had Faye not sacrificed herself. Let a sigh of relief. They're all okay and alive. You still care so much about those traitors? I cannot understand your attachment to them. Mother turns her attention away from me and to the two men who are at a standstill. Mythos, you disappoint me. You have failed me for the last time. And then Mythos dies. With a flick of her hand, Fritz is pulled away from Mythos, or Fritz rather. Fritz is pulled away from Mythos and across the throne room toward me. I move to steady Fritz as he stumbles beside me. I'm so sorry, my queen. I've given you too many chances to prove yourself worthy. You failed me too many times, Myth. You're no use to me anymore. But my queen, I've done everything you wanted to. Please give me one more chance. I promise, Silence. Mother's voice is as cold and sharp as ice. Leave, before I erase you from my sight. Please, my queen. Mother casts a spell on Mythos that's all too familiar. It's the same spell she used to kill Delora. Mythos does not even have a chance to defend himself as Mother's spell shocks his body. Well, Mythos is dead. Such a pest. I don't even know why I kept that useless fool all these years. Well, I slowly turn to look at Mythos. He's no longer standing, but lays unmoving on the floor. Yep, it really is you failed me for the last time. I feel bile rising in my throat. I cannot believe Mother just did that to him. No, I mean, it's not surprising. Mother just murders everyone. Doesn't matter. How could you take away the man's life so easily, dear? How can you be so heartless? It's the first time I've ever heard my father speak to Mother that way. Heartless? I am heartless. Humans shattered my heart many years ago when you hunted my kind. You did this to me. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice movement. In moments, Parfait moves to stand before us, blocking us from Mother. Even though her clothes are soaked in blood, she's clearly wounded. Parfait has never looked so regal before. You. Parfait's hands move before resting her chest over where light begins to gather in her hands. In the blink of an eye, a glittering golden crystal appears above her hands. Is that the Lucis? But the light Lucis is emitting is uneven. As I look closer, I can see that it's cracked. What are you doing? The only thing that I can stop you. My heart plummets as I realize what Parfait is going to do. Parfait, no! If Parfait hears me, she gives no indication. If you do this, you'll die, Faye. You'll die and remove all magic from Angel forever. Nothing else will stop you, will it? Your hatred for the humans, the corruption from the Tower Baron. It runs too deep. I see that now. Magic was never meant to be used in malice, dear. So long as witches can be corrupted, magic will always pose a threat. I cannot allow that to happen. I wanted to change things with Delora, but... What gives you the right to decide what to do with magic? I am the Lucis Bearer. I have a responsibility to maintain balance. But I see now that there can be no balance when the crystalline exists. Light begins to gather, first around Parfait's feet, then around her body. It slowly begins to make its way toward Mother. In no time at all, the light swarms around their bodies. A white crystal suddenly appears in front of Mother, the Tanabrarum. I won't let you do this, Faye! It's too late for that. The golden light of the Lucis intensifies. I can hear the crystal shattering from the inside out. Well, there goes our plan. Our plan initially was so that she wouldn't sacrifice herself in the first place, but she's going to do it anyway. Oh well. No! The Tanabrarum breaks soon after, its fragments slowly fading with the bright light. Mother and Parfait's images begin to do the same, despite Mother's struggle. Both they and the crystallum slowly dissipate into the mist. No! I lunge forward, but Fritz's arms are suddenly around my waist, holding me still. Mother snarls as she attempts to escape Parfait, but the light around her creates a thick box she cannot escape from. You would die for the humans that would have hunted my kind because of their fairy tales. No, I'm dying for you, Hidir, but that for once I might save you from yourself. Mother chokes out a laugh. You are a fool, Faye. Perhaps I am, but at least I will die with hope in my heart. Mother turns to look at me in the blinding light. Parfait's concentration never wavers as she turns to settle her eyes on me as well. Mother's face is fading in the glow, but her voice is clear. I truly did love you, Lucette. Everything I have done, everything I did out of love. Parfait smiles at me gently. It is a silent goodbye. There's a brief burst of light, and for a few moments I'm blinded. When my vision returns, I see Fritz first. He's staring where Parfait and Mother had been only moments ago. On the floor where they stood moments ago, there's now only dust. Okay. Well, everyone keeps dying. All the magic is gone, I guess. No more magic. Which, I mean, doesn't really... not that bad, considering that not everyone has magic in the first place, so the people who have magic affecting them, is actually more of a negative, considering the fairytale curses and everything. So, this is right here. With the loss of the crystallum, magic vanished from Angel. All the fairytale curses broke simultaneously, and all witches and fairies lost their power. They're all just humans now. As soon as it disappeared, I turned to an education centered around the knowledge of Angel rather than magic. Okay, interesting ending where magic is all lost. So instead of becoming, the most powerful witch ever in the other timelines, instead we, I guess, just pursue like a normal education, at least as a princess, I guess, become queen, and everything. I decided back then that I would do anything to help Angel and his people. I need to start first by educating myself. I start to follow my father on his trips around the kingdom. I even start to accompany Emmeline on all her trips outside the palace. Fritz has remained by my side for the past month. He comes with me every day I visit the graves. Yeah, there's a lot of people who die in this route. There's Garland. There's Mythros died, I guess. Varg technically died, metaphysically, I guess. Who else died? Delora and and Parfait. The two like our two mothers basically died. Or like like our real mother, obviously, but also I don't know, Delora and Parfait. I feel like those are our other mothers as well. So three of our mothers. They're just three moms. They're just all dead. I don't know. And I guess, well, we do have our stepmom, technically, Ophelia. We didn't really see much of her this timeline, though. Carefully, so as not to disturb the flowers Julian had left earlier, I leaned down to place my lilies by each gravestone. Garland, Delora, Parfait, and the last is always the hardest. With a deep breath, I walk up to the fourth gravestone. I stare at it for a long time before I finally set a lily down. Mother. Oh, I guess, yeah, Mother. Mother, technically dead. Fritz and I stand there in silence as we grieve for the lives lost that day. But not Mythos, though. Screw him, apparently. I mean, yeah, he is evil, so he doesn't really deserve any sympathy. I wonder if he has any friends, other than Mother. I mean, I guess not. If he doesn't have his own grave, I guess nobody else cared about him. Isn't that tragic? I look up into the sky and smile as I stare at the warm rays of the sun. I shift my gaze at Fritz, who smiles at me. He's never left my side since that day. Fritz has already told me that he loves me, but I've yet to tell him my own feelings. Fritz? Yes? I didn't have the chance to ask this before, but how could you possibly love me? I've been so horrible, not just to you, but to everyone around me. Fritz's expression softens. He gently tilts my chin upwards so that I have to look at him as he speaks. Well, for as long as I've known you, you had to deal with things no one should have to go through. You were forced to live in the Queen's shadow because others refused to see past your relationship to her. You've been alone for so long, and I could see how much you were hurting. Yeah. Just one moment, everyone's dead, and back to like lovey-dovey time with Fritz. Don't worry about it. Are we just gonna make out in front of the graves? Anyway, you've been alone so long, I can see how much you were hurting. But despite all that pain, you remain strong. You've always been strong. From the beginning, all I've wanted to be was someone you could rely on, someone you could trust, someone who would always be there for you. I must have trusted him from the beginning too. Fritz was the only one I allowed to get close to me. I do not look away from him, but instead I stare back into his eyes with conviction. I know I may not have shown it, but I did trust you. I've always been able to tell. You wear your heart on your sleeve. I do not. Well, no, she did not put her heart on her sleeve, especially at the beginning. Fritz laughs, and the slight cockiness of his smile reminds me a little bit of someone else. Yeah, maybe. Again, my theory is that Varg is not really dead. Varg is still in him, as Fritz. Fritz is basically Varg, They're the same people. It's been years since you became my responsibility. Once I learned your tales, you became an open book. He surprises me by putting his forehead to mine. The feeling of him is so close, it's comforting. I love the way you're so careful with whatever you consider precious. I love how your eyes light up when you eat a good pastry. I love whenever you rely on me. I bite down my lip as I blink back tears. No one has ever had that kind of faith in me. Before I knew it, you made a spot for yourself in my heart. And I began to hope that one day I could be as dear to you as you are to me. I stare up at Fritz, the tears pooling in my eyes. He wipes away a tear before it can roll down my cheek. I've never felt so cherished before. I now step away when he leans forward to plant a kiss on my forehead. I hold out my hand and Fritz comes to my side, hand-holding in front of the graves of the lewd. I feel the warmth of his fingers and smile. When things begin to overwhelm me, he never fails to calm me. I grip his hand more tightly. Lucette? I love you. You know that, right? I've known for a while, but it's nice to hear it all the same. And I'll say it for as long as you want me to. For the rest of our lives, then. A princess and her knight, Does that matter? No, it doesn't. Even though there was such a rule, I abolished it once I became queen. Fritz starts to laugh. As always, his laughter is full of so much joy that lifts my heart. I mean, technically, again, isn't a knight? Aren't they like a noble, like a landed knight? They technically own land and they can marry a princess. I don't know. maybe it's different in Angel, but like a knight and a princess, you know, isn't actually all that strange, at least in real life. I want to hear it for the rest of my life. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to. Okay. Happy Anne! We finished the Fitzgerald route. Amazing. We learn a lot more about the background, considering like Waltz and Mythos and Mom. We saw Mom a lot. Mom keeps killing a bunch of people and everything. Oh yeah. Again, like every route is like a little bit different, which I think is cool. We do learn a little bit about all the side characters each time, you know. It really is. I don't know. It's like a Varg route. I don't know. Again, it's like my theory. Again, it's like, you know, Varg really is just Fritz. You know, probably he just hides it most of the time. He doesn't act like a Varg all the time, but probably, you know, it's just his inner desires. He just acts like Varg sometimes, you know. I remember in the beginning as well, you know, he does act a little smug in the beginning. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like the very like prologue, you know, Fritz does act a little like Varg, you know, in the very beginning. He says something snarky, right, to Lisette and everything. So again, like a Fritz / Varg route, even though they're technically the same person. Sort of, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, one more route to go. It's the Waltz route. I'm gonna do after, I guess, this credits. Again, we see the credits for like the 4th time, technically. So, Whee! Credits! Cinderella phenomenon. There's the clock again. I guess the clock is a reference to Cinderella. I guess when the clock strikes midnight and everything. I guess they do make a reference to that. You know, especially when her 18th birthday, the midnight strikes the clock or whatever. In this case, the clock represents me going back in time and choosing another route, obviously. Yeah, here's his picture. I guess the hood is Red Riding Hood. I guess this is like a Neverland. I don't know how this represents Neverland. I don't know, again, like a Saint Court. I guess Waltz will be the last route. So what we're gonna do